For this edition of How to Beat, we've got the current menace tearing through everyone at multiple levels from bronze newbie to online sweaty and all the way up through to the pros. Hitman. Hitman is a slow walk speed character with some great neutral tools once he's in your face. His combos are pretty good and put you in a vortex of sorts with his multi-hitting overhead attacks and varied block pressure that can threaten guard break. But he doesn't do much damage as long as you don't get hit by one of his super slow S or MS skills as a combo starter. But once that lava comes through in the health bar, this guy's a problem. All his magic skills can be cancelled into 10 MP cost special that leaves him safe on block or extends his combos into massive damage and a guaranteed kill with Awakening Super. And this works with the DP, so hitmen are just out here robbing matches online. Most people probably only have trouble with this one gimmick, so I've timestamped it for you to jump straight through to the solution. For everyone else, let me break down the logistics of this matchup. Outside of Awakening mode, Hitman is pretty much an average character. He has some hot stuff, but nothing too overwhelming. He has some neutral options, but they're strongest at his specific spacing, and most of the cast can play around it. If you can zone him out with abilities, he'll have a hard time getting in with just system mechanics like dash, blocking, and rolling. Most zoning characters can blow that stuff up pretty easy. And in neutral situations up close, all of his attacks are pretty slow, so you'll have a field day. Once he does get in on his terms though, and you have to take the pressure, understand that all the basic attacks and skill attacks are negative. Take your turn back. Don't let him reset the pressure strings for free, because you're just going to get guard broken sooner that way. Next, watch out for his vortex. He doesn't do much damage off of his normal starters, but he does get really good knockdown pressure. The main mix here, outside of getting thrown, is his multi-hitting jumping attacks. For these, you've got to learn the heights where X amount of overheads come out. His jumping A hits up to 3 times from max height. If you crouch block before the shots stop, then you get it opened up for free. Jumping B is very similar. It hits a max of 2 times overhead, but it has good horizontal hitbox to cross you up, so you may want to use the block button when getting jumped over or knocked down. Jumping B can be used to hit you overhead immediately after Hitman jumps off the ground, but it only combos when used from a particular height on the way up. It's pretty fast, but it is reactable to block. However, if Hitman has conversion, watch out, because then they can combo directly off of the much faster instant overhead timing, and you're not going to be able to block that on reaction. Guard cancel is always an option, so you don't have to hold any mix-ups, but it only works if they're high enough, otherwise they can just block and punish you. Though you should really just lab it out and get a sense of how many bullets come out from specific heights, then you can be prepared to block all that crap when it happens in a real game. Now for the magic skills that he can cancel his strings into. Most hitmen are going to pressure you with their forward advancing skill to lock you down by canceling into the Caracol magic skill, which is in fact plus on block. Taking this block string outside of the corner means that you are pushed to Hitman's ideal neutral range with him getting the first action. So even though you're not totally disadvantaged because you can play around his attacks, it can feel kind of oppressive. Whenever you see the Caracol come out, a guard cancel is a decent idea since you get white health for neutral conversion tricks, as well as pushing him out of your face. But you won't always have 100 mana. Sometimes you don't want to spend that much, especially if you have a high mana usage character, and some characters don't have a guard cancel with enough range. So sometimes you'll see the Hitman player delay the Caracol cancel just a bit to catch you pressing buttons. So don't do that or you'll get opened up into the vortex loop. But if they do ever leave a gap and you're close enough, you can roll through to the other side for a full punish. Once you show them this, then they'll either cancel faster to keep it a true block string, or they'll pull out other moves that can catch with the roll, so it becomes sort of a rock, paper, scissors. But that's cool because you want to see these other moves. Caracol is the really good plus on block skill. These other things let you get your turn back for free. And please don't get caught slipping and hit by the final strike magic skill. This combo starter will lead to huge damage and then still stick you in the vortex. And throwing out a DP in any of those gaps is always an option to reset back to neutral, but that's also range dependent on your specific character's DP, because if they perform the Caracol from far enough, then you won't be able to hit them. And speaking of DPs, here's the section on beating Hitman in Awakening that I'm sure a good amount of people skip straight to. This is what puts Hitman in the top tier of characters on the roster. A player that's already good at fighting games is hard enough to take wins from, and they'll stack a bunch of dubs. But they pick up Hitman, and they win 70% of the games that they were supposed to lose on top of that. This man is grand larceny in pixels, but y'all know the deal. Phoenix Academy, complaints to a minimum, adaptation to a maximum. Traditionally, DPs are simple. Invincible moves that get you out of pressure, but you eat heavy damage for abusing it and getting blocked. Hitman spits in the face of that traditional logic and just turns his DP into a 500 damage reversal or a safe on block attack for only 40% of his meter. Initially, people discovered, hey, we can roll the Shattering Strike startup, but this was quickly made irrelevant by the discovery that if you roll it, it's a +0 situation, meaning it's neutral, and even though Hitman's not good at that range because his buttons are slow, he can blow up anything you try with a DP into Shattering Strike, exactly what you tried to avoid in the first place. Totally unfair, right? Yeah, but everyone has their gimmick. With it, he just happens to be like top 3 or 4. But I've said this from day one. Guiding principle when fighting most characters is to keep them out of Awakening. If they're close to Awakening, you should have a combo route prepared that puts you in an advantageous position to kill on the next hit. Lots of characters have cool resets that give you the kill on a simple guess. But okay, that's not always possible. Sometimes you leave them just outside of Awakening, but your reset is unsuccessful and they get chipped into Awakening anyway. Understand that even in that case, you did the right thing. The more total opportunities for you to try and get the kill without fearing Awakening Shatter Strike is only beneficial to you. But now you gotta deal with the bullshit. But what if I told you there's an option select here? If you block the DP, you're guaranteed wide health since it's an MS attack. So after the roll, as long as you have an attack that's 7 frames or faster, you can throw it out and conversion immediately to visually register the resulting action. So let's walk through the options. If Hitman DP'd again, you'll be able to see the red flash in the animation and can hold block out of the conversion. If he didn't put himself into exhaustion by spending 150 MP, then look to repeat the same thing with another Shattering Strike counter, at which point he won't have enough MP to Shattering Strike again if he DPs a 3rd time. If you land the hit, you can just continue into a kill combo, which you should be able to finesse since you got MP off of conversion and he has only a bit of health since he's in Awakening. And if blocked, roll into your usual pressure string. But don't do one with gaps in it because you know that the DP is locked and loaded and they're ready to use it at any moment. You show this tech to any Hitman player below DD and their brain will explode. They don't know how to deal with this. Really, they can't deal with it. The option select is very strong. The absolute best thing they can do here is block. Now with a good Hitman, we get more rock, paper, scissors. They might simply not do the Shattering Strike. I don't have the frame data, but I feel like when I practice this, I'm able to hold forward after blocking the DP and recognize whether the Shattering Strike is coming and react with the roll. But I'm not entirely sure if that's true or I'm just lucky when I test it out, because I do fail it sometimes. So for now, let's call it an RPS until we have concrete info. If you roll through and they don't Shattering Strike, they can catch your roll for free with down A. They can DP again because, you know, they're always DPing no matter what happens on the screen because that's how they win. This is assuming that Shattering Strike isn't reactable. If it is, as I believe it is, then you are 100% advantageous whenever Hitman tries to DP and you block it. And other than that tech, you should also be using the safe roll tech people have discovered. Save jumps allow you to option select a jump in attack or block a DP if they use one. Most of you should be familiar with safe jumps, but if not, you can look up whether or not your character has one. With Hitman, his DP has some spatial gaps, so you can actually safe roll his DP when used outside the corner. Just option select the roll after putting out your meaty air attack instead of option selecting the block. This lets you punish him fully before he even has an opportunity to Shattering Strike. And lastly, when Hitman crouches and blocks by holding the block button instead of down back, his hitbox is actually extended upwards, meaning a few characters get to flip the script and instant overhead him instead. And that should help you solve this matchup just a little bit. Let me know what other characters y'all would like to see in the comments. Catch me streaming on Twitch, and if you'd like to support this content, check out the Patreon. And even if you don't do any of those things, thanks for watching. Peace.